shouldn't have screws in your tool bag. Don't do it. Don't put bolts and nuts and hardware in your tool bag.
Right? I totally agree. Well, first of all, if I put something like screws or something, I'm going to end up stabbing myself.
Oh yeah, you're going to reach in there and it's going to be stuck under your fingernail.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, back in the studio. And look at this. We got new digs. I'm in a new spot in the shop.
New spot. New.
Yeah, this is exciting. Andy, you got a new tool bag in front of you. But before we get into that, I want to tell everybody thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
If you're listening to this on a streaming audio app, it's going to be a little more show and tell today. So check it out on YouTube if you want to see what we're talking about. We'll do our best to talk about the stuff so you can understand it. But we just got back from AHR, Andy, and we haven't been in the studio for almost like a month.
It feels like it.
Well, the dates are
the calendar doesn't lie either.
No, I mean 20 days. It's been that's a long time. And we got some more travel ahead of us. I know I'm leaving town in a few days to go to the design and construction week. They call it now, but I call it the builder show.
Yeah.
Home builder.
That's the same as KBiz.
KBiz, yeah. So you got the kitchen and bath side, and then you have the International Builder Show on the other side. It kind of like they coexist,
right,
at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Yeah. I mean, the kitchen bath side's cool. I just never call it that. So like, I'm going to both shows, right?
Yeah, right.
Like my past gets me into both shows, and I would not miss. And I don't intentionally leave anybody out, but I would not miss booths like the Kohler booth or, what's another bit? Like, I bring up Kohler first, top of mind, because they have this massive, like 2 block long, exhibit
Toto.
with Toto, Moen. Yeah. I love seeing the fixtures like in person, with the flare of color that they're going to put on display just to catch your eye and stuff like that. It's cool. I don't see that in people's homes around, where I work. And plus, I'm not really doing that work anymore, but it's fun. It's fun. The builder show's cool too, because then that's where we get to go. Like you and I did a really awesome video. I think I can't wait to see it. Look at me pat myself on the back, hey, we did this awesome video. I haven't even seen it. No. At AHR at the Renai booth. Well, they're gonna be at Builder Show too, because they're kind of trying to exhibit to these builders and whatnot, which is smart for them. So the builder side, I go see some of the HVAC stuff. Mitsubishi will be there. Navian will probably be there. The water heater companies, that kind of thing. Is pretty cool to see.
Well, and you don't really fully understand the undertaking of marketing. Until you walk into a booth like Kohler's booth and go, they drug this in here like 2 days ago and set this thing up, and it's like 10,000 square feet of
it costs them millions of dollars
and bathrooms, complete. And
some of it's working, the shower head displays and like the shower controls is where a lot of people congregate, because you get that tactile, like you get to touch, feel, and operate, which is, I think, super smart. For any manufacturer to do that. Like, I mean, you can't look, you could start up a water heater, but you're never going to know it's running, big flipping deal. But like to turn a shower on and off and control it. And then of course they're doing their highest end, their largest, their top price point stuff, so it's kind of, you get that, there's a little bit of like starry eyed, like, whoa, this is really cool. Whether you're going to be installing it or have it in your own home. That's, I don't know. Right. It's out of my price point, typically, I would say.
I wonder what it costs to build a booth like that, ground up. It's got to be $1 million.
More than that.
I mean, right?
No, it's more. Yeah. So, like, I think all in costs, like, for something the size of what Kohler does, and this is not something I know from experience, but I hear these people talk about it. I would estimate, because they have they work on this for like 2-3 years at a time.
Sure.
Like they designed this booth. It started not months ago. It didn't start last year either. It started before the last show.
Sure.
And you've got interior designers, you've got carpentry and building teams. You've got electricians involved, plumbing, obviously. Sure. So you've got like this company that specializes in these kind of things. And it's funny we're talking about this, because we're going to talk about tool bags in a minute. But anyway, I know that these booths, like something like that, they're investing like upwards of $2 million just to construct it off site with specialized, company that does this kind of stuff. And then they got to move it all. So it has to be packaged up.
That was what I was going to say. You got to be able to put the thing in a suitcase and basically put it on a train car and mini
suitcases the size of our, vans or small cars,
Sure.
And then it has to be assembled, like you said. And you imagine how much of that gets damaged and how much like on-site repair they have to do. Just like, all that laminated finish kind of stuff, Yeah. It's cool. It's wild. It's super impressive to go see. And I encourage anybody listening too. Like we talk about trade shows a couple times a year, you and I do, and we go to them often. I especially because of the Mechanical Hub business, but I think it's fascinating stuff. I think it's totally worthwhile, worth your time to go look into like a local trade show or one of these international, like there's one of these big ones that kind of bring everybody in from around the country. Because they have these massive exhibits, maybe you're going to do a remodel at your house or something like that. Like if you're going to remodel something in your home, do not miss this kitchen and bath and builder show.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that would be a mistake, to be honest with you.
Well, and that's, I mean, you start looking at things like that and you go like, okay, well, I'm really, really, interested in like the toilets and the sinks and the faucets. But then you don't think about like, well, what about the mirrors? What about the light fixtures and,
the hardware, the hardware shows and
amazing of freaking, that kind of stuff. And I think that was the most fascinating part of going to when you and I went through,
Ish.
Yeah.
ISH.
Like walking through and looking at the faux fireplaces. Right.
Or the medicine cabinets. Remember, you and I spent like 2 hours just like opening medicine cabinets going like, oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I can charge my phone here.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that the one countertop that had the flames coming out of it?
I just thought about that the other day, honestly. I remember the video where I was putting my hand through it. Like, yeah, I totally, like, this stuff is not only just neat to look at, but like I said, like, serves a purpose. There's a reason why they do it, right? Yeah. And then like as a consumer, if you're going to do some kind of project or something like that, and you're really serious about investing in your house or, like this would be a good move to go attend something like that. But I'm excited to go. Yep. Anyway, look at this. I got the shop behind me. I'm out in the shop. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Okay, cool. Totally well, maybe we'll do it out here. I never loved being in the little studio space, but it works. And but we built that before we did video, right?
Right.
So it was like super functional, has the little tiles in there to keep it nice and quiet. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah. So you got a new bag, Veto Pro Pack bag.
Yeah, I've been running this. I don't know. I guess I've had it for about a month and a half, maybe now. 2 months.
What are you holding out on me? This is the first time.
Well, I didn't. Bags are like one of those things, like you move into a new bag and you're like, I don't know if I like this. It's not like my old one,
Yeah.
But I didn't like my old one that much. So, it wasn't like I hated it, It was a great bag. The old bag I had was, had a complete zipper top. It's the same profile of bag, but it didn't have the back section. So, I mean, a couple of the things on this bag that I guess intrigued me was, I like having the open front. I generally didn't have it because the last open top bag that I had was like this catch-all. Like I just tossed stuff in it and it drove me nuts.
I'm a big open top guy. We've talked about that.
Yeah. And I don't have any problem with it. For me, it was like I constantly was looking in my bag going, why is this thing like 30 pounds? Right. I have like 4 screwdrivers in it. What's in there? And then you get in there and you're like, oh, I've got, 8 half-inch compression nuts and the ferrule because I replaced these angle stops and I didn't have anywhere to put these loose pieces, so they just went clink.
All right, so don't take this the wrong way, but that's called user error.
I'm not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So I totally get it. I used to be the worst at that, and the biggest thing is my bag was bigger than it is now, so I've downsized considerably from my first Veto bag. My first one was an open top. OTXL. I mean, you're talking freaking huge and heavy. And by the time I would dump that thing out, same thing. Yeah. Now I've got kind of like the same version of that bag, more or less. And
you remember as an apprentice when you had a bucket boss?
Yes.
And a 5-gallon bucket and all your, you had like 3 10-way screwdrivers and a torpedo level and like your other cheesy
You have 14 pliers. Different crescent wrenches.
Yeah. And then the bottom of the bucket was just garbage.
At least a half inch of like dirt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes literally dirt.
Yeah. Like
when I was an apprentice,
6 months, you just
certain part of my apprenticeship, I worked commercial for a few years, and I just got a text from Mike Ring asking me if I need anything from the store. Sorry,
I should say butter.
Obviously,
some butter. You want to bring me some eggs?
Obviously, meant to send that to his wife, I think. But anyway, sorry. Pardon the interruption. When part of my apprenticeship, I worked for a big commercial shop, and we did service and stuff downtown Minneapolis. Honestly, I credit that part of my apprenticeship as like teaching me probably the most important skills and kind of just learning how to do this trade. But anyway, I had a bucket,
right,
and that bucket would very regularly be full of like concrete dust from drilling holes and using it as like a catch-all. Like honestly, like it would be so gross and just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
A bucket. Let's not talk about buckets because we don't use them anymore. Like if you're using a bucket, Chad, then get a life.
Make sure it's a Menards bucket if you're going to use a bucket.
Yeah. Make sure it depends on where you're working, I guess.
So, yeah, right.
That was a funny episode, by the way. I actually enjoy it. I don't listen to everything we record, but that one was fun to listen to. Okay. So you got the bag. What bag? What's the model of this?
So this is an SBLD. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what the denomination. Usually you can kind of decipher what they are, but it's kind of like you said, the description. It's a hybrid meter bag, right? And the idea behind it is in the front we've got some open top storage, both sides, kind of like so.
Yeah.
And in the back, it's a meter bag.
Okay, right? So it's zipping. So there's a zip. There's like an enclosed area for anybody listening. Yeah. There's an enclosed area that you're keeping it looks like a clamp meter in there.
Yeah, I got my clamp meter, set of Allen wrenches, my little gas probe. We'll go through it.
Okay.
But I guess the size of it is what I guess appreciated.
Yeah.
Was that it's small enough that I can, what I'm doing on the daily these days, right? Like my role in the company has changed in the last few years to more of an administration side of things, so I'm more of just trying to find the work than I am doing as much of it. So a lot of times when I'm coming in, it's like, hey, I've got 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to come in and help you guys with this install. They already have their tools there. Right? Like I don't need to carry pipe wrenches and drills and all that stuff because it's already on the job.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming in, bringing a handful of hand tools and, what I'm going to need to do my little piece. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's also, you're doing a lot more. If you're showing up on site, there's a likelihood too that you're, going to diagnose a piece of equipment or something like that too, right?
Sure.
Like, it's not always install, right?
No. And that's where this bag works really well. And that is that it's light enough that you could carry it, up a couple flights of stairs, whatever, 10 flights of stairs, whatever, if you needed to. And it's not like, oh my God, I'm lugging 38 pounds worth of screwdrivers and bolt cutters and, tubing cutters and all this to go light a fireplace.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I want to invite you to visit mechanicalhub.com because if you want to stay on top of the plumbing and heating industries and what's happening, you're going to want to visit our website, mechanicalhub.com. There's a hyphen in there between mechanical and hub. Don't ask, it's a long story. Anyway, while you're there, don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletters. All right. The newsletter is packed with the latest news, trends, tips to keep you on top of your game. So whether you're in the shop or out in the field, we got you covered. So head over to mechanicalhub.com and join our community today. And hey, thanks for listening to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. Have a good one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah. Oh, look, we needed a thermocouple.
Right, exactly.
I'm glad I brought this pipe wrench.
Yeah. So I guess we can just run through kind of what I've got in this bag.
Can we start with the back of it though? Because I was interested just by looking at it. So I have a bag that's close to this. It's called a TP XL, maybe.
Yeah.
It's got like that open front, but then like it just has a couple pockets, but not that big zip thing. So I'm interested in this because of that big zip compartment on the back.
Yep. So to start off with, it's got a flip pocket back here. I always keep a paper towel because you never know when you're going to be like, crap, I need to wipe that out. Right?
Yeah.
That's something that's just like cheap, Scotch-Brite. And then in here, I carry meter leads.
Oh, for
my
multimeter and stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't know what else is in there. That's it. I try to avoid having like miscellaneous pockets to like dump crap in. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
totally get it.
You shouldn't have screws in your tool bag. Don't do it. Don't put bolts and nuts and hardware in your tool bag.
Right? I totally agree. Well, first of all, if I put something like screws or something, I'm going to end up stabbing myself.
Oh yeah. You're going to reach in there and it's going to be stuck under your fingernail.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the, I like that the zippers go all the way down because you can actually pull this thing out. So what I've got in here right now, let's just see. So I carry a Fluke 902 FC clamp meter. You know, I don't want to say pretty basic, but it does everything that I need it to do.
Yeah.
I really want to love these. This is the Wera.
The shorties. Yeah, the shorty Allen keys or hex keys.
Yep. They're bulky.
They are super bulky.
Like the kit, everything about it is it's just kind of fat and stocky.
It's because there's too many sizes, but you hate to be without, right?
Right. I don't know that I need a 3/8, right? You know, like that's
I need like a 5/8, but
well, yeah, but right. Anyway, so I've got the SAE and metric version of this. I'm only carrying the SAE size right now.
Okay.
Which is a little bit weird. Not having metric Allen keys on the tool bag, but I'm just trying it, right? You know, like, I mean, the beauty of all of this is you can mix and match and try things, and kind of like what we've talked about in the past on our vans is when you start looking at your tool bag and you always have that one item that you're taking out to get to something else.
That's probably an item you don't need.
Right. Get rid of it. So
yeah, or move it.
Yeah, something. So then I got little,
There's a freaking clown car of the back of this bag, dude. You keep pulling more stuff out. If you're watching this, if you're just listening, Andy just pulled out like 25 tools out of the back of this. Right. And it's like the size of like a dinner plate. So.
Right. So I got non-contact voltage meter, little, flashlight deal.
Yeah. Then you got your little sniffer.
Little gas sniffer.
Those things are fantastic.
Pretty handy.
It is. It's like a pen style. Yeah, I like it, actually. Yeah. It's useful.
So it's nice that all of this stuff, let me make sure there's nothing else in there. I mean, like I say, it's deep. I keep this. This is my, it's mine. It's pink, and it's a folding barbecue lighter.
A folding I've never heard of such a thing.
Sweet.
It is pretty cool.
I got it at the gas station, I think.
You just toss it when it's out, or you refill it?
It was like $6.
Look at you saving landfill space.
So that goes in there so that I can light the fireplace like we talked.
Yeah.
We picked up this. This is a little Navac. I wish I had the model number. Anyway, Navac's starting to sell headlamps. It's got like the light bar across the front.
Crazy flexible that's like on the headband.
Yeah.
Like you see these things, you see ads for these similar lights on like your social media feed all the time. You probably see them now that we're talking about it.
Oh, straight work light. This thing goes off on the side of your head. USB-C rechargeable. I mean, it's got a power button. It's got the wave sensor, like 4 or 5 settings. I don't know. Just trying it out. It's nice because it folds up nice and compact.
Yeah, I like that.
I can slip it right down in here with the...
I guess most headlamps do. Some of them are. Like the one with that like battery pack in the back. Ugh.
Yeah.
What a freaking coal miner here.
On my meter... One of the things, like I don't know what, a lot of people will just run the stock leads. I ended up with the Fluke interchangeable leads, so you can have, like alligator.
There's your big clamp, big alligator.
I mean, you pay almost as much for a good set of leads as you do the meter, but once you have the leads, you know, I don't know.
The leads don't usually go bad unless you wrap them up too tight, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the other things, you know, I like about this is, and in my last, I had an electrical bag and a tool bag the last time.
It's kind of what I have, yeah. Yep.
And it was always like, oh, which one do I grab? Well, I guess I'll take both.
I pretty much always just use my install bag,
right,
and dump my meter in the top of it. So it's not super useful, to be honest.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the V-swap panel. So if anybody's not familiar,
so that whole thing just
really
lifts
loud.
out. You could put it in a different bag if you wanted. Oh, you just took it out now.
Take that guy right out of there. And then you could have just a big open pouch, or there's like 5 or 6 of these different V-swap panel sizes that you can slip right into this bag.
Do you think that that's useful?
This is the first one I've personally had. I bought Miles the backpack.
Yeah.
Here like a year ago that had the V-swap panels, and we bought 2 or 3 different panels to try. He liked it.
So here's my take on it. I mean, I see that it makes like it. I'm not questioning whether or not it works or anything, but I have a couple bags that have these panels in them, but the panels only fit in that bag. Right.
Yep.
So it's not like you take one panel and like, oh, I kind of like this panel. There's little pockets on this panel, and I want it in this other bag. Well, it doesn't work that way because it's not like the right size.
Well, and like when we went through it, I think the initial, and like I say, it's been a year or so since we bought that bag. What Miles was hoping for is, I think that he was going to do like, this is going to be my sheet metal tools on this V-swap panel. And I'm going to have all my sheet metal tools in this. So if we're going to go do a sheet metal install, I can grab that panel out of the van, snap it into the bag, and take out the plumbing panel and put it on the wall, because we're not going to need the plumbing tools in the bag on the sheet metal install. Right. And then you could kind of hot swap tool kits with the same bag
without having to unload and reload kind of thing.
I don't know. I guess I never really found out if he used it to that extent. So I'm not sure. But
it's probably, I'm sure it makes a ton of sense on Veto's side, because then they can make different panels and then market it in different ways with the same bag, different panels kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that back part. And, you know, I'm always looking for a bag that easily hold my meter, but I also need one to put my gas manometer, because do a lot of gas work. And so having a spot dedicated, and then having a spot for like my hoses, the tubing on my manometer, that kind of thing.
I think this pocket is also big enough to throw an iPad 11 in.
I wouldn't need it, but yeah, that makes sense.
If somebody was out there like, I need my iPad all the time on the job. Well, that pocket is big enough to stick that in there. I don't know how you would protect the iPad and then utilize it as anything else back there, but because it's
notebooks and
this section here, I would say is 2.5, 2.25 inch thick right here.
Well, I can look at the specs because I pulled it up. You know, it's pretty
through there.
Pretty cool. It's let's see what we got. Well, you think it would tell you that when they give you the dimension. They don't tell you how the depth. It says no. That's
guess what? I have a tape measure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because their little graphic doesn't actually tell us that.
Yeah, about 2.5, something like that.
Yeah, cool.
I guess if we're measuring 2.5 by roughly 7.
That's the back side of it, the little zipper part.
And about 11 tall.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, moving
on
to
the rest
front.
Is hand tools, right?
Yeah, hand tools. Got gas CO detector. This is a little nifty thing that a lot of people don't know about.
Company by the name of one of these, by the way. Did you know there's a new one of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this thing right here. Like, save your bacon when you're got screws and there's like, if you're working in a mechanical room that has a lot of low profile equipment like boilers and freezers and things like that, all of your screws will be like premium grade stainless steel and non-magnetic, and they'll fall on the floor and they'll just zip underneath the for the freezer.
They disappeared. It's like when they hit the floor, they disintegrate.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have this, you can push your screws into these little holes. If you have bits, you can.
Yeah, and if you're listening, he's holding up like they call it the Boltster, right?
Yep.
Is that what that is?
Bitster. This one's the Bitster, made by Boltster.
Made by Boltster. Say that 10 times fast. Right. So anyway, it's like a soft silicone thing. He's got a little bunch of holes molded in this big like 1.5 by like 8-inch long like piece of silicone, about a 3/4 of an inch thick, and it's got these holes in it. And you can just push a screw into those holes and it just holds it. So like you take a panel off of a side of a furnace and you could just put the screws in there. You're removing the, inducer motor or something like that. You pull out the screws. You don't want to lose them. You put them in the little bitster and it holds them for you. Just, there's a little magnet, and I like it. I have one. Yep. I've had the original. Now I just got the new one. The dude sent it to me, and that's why I brought it up. I think it's worth mentioning because he improved it, or I don't know the person, but it's thicker, bigger, and it's got a couple bigger magnets in it. So
I've got the like workbox top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that.
It's like an organizer kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like this. Well, if you were gonna like rebuild a car or something like that, like rebuild an engine or do take something complex apart that had a lot of big pieces. It's got like 6 or 8 trays in the top.
Oh, wow.
And then you can like push all the bolts in there. The cool thing is with the TPU silicone material is that it's all pretty much chemical resistant.
Yeah.
So if you were going to take all your fasteners and you wanted to wash them all, you could push your fasteners into this thing, throw it in your parts washer, and basically rinse everything off without everything getting mixed up.
It's interesting.
So kind of interesting.
That's cool.
But anyway, bag's got that classic Veto hanging hook in the front here, which is super handy.
That's how I hang my TPXL in my van. Yep. That's like how I store it.
Yeah,
hanging on that hook.
You could put a shoulder strap on this. It doesn't come with it, but it just comes with the regular hand strap. But you could throw a shoulder strap on.
Go down to your local Louis Vuitton store and get a nice strap.
You could
crossbody.
Yeah, maybe a nice down on this end, got a little tube of the super lube. Everybody's got to have super lube.
Not yelling. I'm not saying anything.
Not saying anything. Just keep going. Keep swimming.
Keep talking.
I'm a Knipex fanboy, if you will.
No, you're a long time user. Let's say it like it is.
This twin grip is a weird plier to have. However, when you have it and you're like, oh,
I wonder, that might
use that.
Yep.
I like it.
I have a set and I am trying to come around and learning how to use them. I guess I just need to add it to my bag.
Yep. Best electrical strippers on the market.
Sharpest forged wire strippers I've ever used in my life. They're like razor sharp
and hard.
Oh my God. The only thing they could make better is if you could get those as an optional like needle nose. They got that big paddle end on them, and they're too big at a lot of times.
Yep. So I got those in there. Tough built utility knife. I don't really need a utility knife, but you know what I found is that if I use the utility knife that I'm carrying in my pocket all the time, it's always got a dual blade. And I usually, when I'm doing something with my tool bag, I'm like, I need a spare blade. So this one, kind of cool. It's got the blade cartridge in the back.
It's pretty cool.
Nice knife.
I don't keep anything in my pockets, so my bag is hanging. My knife is always hanging on the side of my bag, 100% of the time. Yep. But I can't be without it. I feel like I always need a knife for like just opening a box or something.
Yep. So anyway, that's on that side. I started carrying this. I don't have a Wera tool check in this bag.
Oh boy.
Have for years, but I don't anymore. And I switched over to this little Weha Go box. And that's kind of what it's got. So it's ratchet, all your bits that you need. It does have a 1/4-inch drive adapter. This is just a smaller form factor and it's metal. I guess my biggest complaint about the tool check is that I've broken a few of them, like the case. Now,
I have a bigger complaint about the tool check. Can we cover that for just 2 seconds? So the tool check is a super, super, super useful add on to your tool bag. Like if you do any kind of service work where you're taking apart a lot of different things, you need different size fastener bits and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, look, it's a fantastic little tool, and it pretty much has what you need in it.
Yep.
Miniature. Like the little ratchet's like 3 inches long, if that's similar to what you have in that little bag or that little whatever. Here's the deal with the tool check though. It's all open. It's that big plastic framework you're talking about, and you can see everything, which makes it useful, but it's also all open. So like if anything ever gets spilled on it, it covers all your bits and gunk. I had a can of Rector Seal pipe dope, like the yellow stuff, the number 5.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had this on my van. I haven't used that stuff in years. It's not bad by any means. I just don't use it. Right. Anyway, it was in a box. My tool check was in a box, and this freaking pipe dope lid wasn't always all the way on. It tipped over, spilled all over my thing. I was like, if this was in a metal container, I wouldn't care. I'd just wipe it off. But now I got like basically a tool check I want to throw in the garbage.
Yep.
Like that's my gripe about it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
No, I don't disagree. And that's kind of where I was at with it too, is I got to the point where I'm like, I only use a 10 millimeter socket off the thing.
Yeah.
So might as well just, find somewhere to stash a 10 mil socket on my.
Well, you need a 10 mil, a 7/16 and a half, you know what I mean? And a 9/16. So then what are you going to do? Like mix and match because you buy either SAE or metric.
Right. So anyway, I haven't quite figured out that yet. Weehaw control screwdrivers, finest little spinny top screwdrivers ever. This was a courtesy of you. And if anybody's looking, that's how you spell Weehaw.
WIHA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Just solid hand tools.
I totally we've talked about it in the past. We did a video when you were in town here, and look, if you want the best screwdrivers, just buy Weehaw stuff. I'm sorry to anybody else that makes nice screwdrivers. I can't say, I don't know. They're great.
So I keep that little Phillips number 1, and then what is this guy here is a 0.6 by 3.5 flat or straight blade. So
that's thermostat control screwdrivers, they're the best. Honestly, I totally agree. I have the same ones, but they're the insulated version. I don't need the insulated version, but that's just what I have.
Yep. Keeping on the screwdriver theme, these are also Weehaw because, well, why not?
Those are the best ones too.
These are the impact handles, got a hex shank on them. They're tough. Like this thing this screwdriver has some bulk. If I was trying to cut weight on this bag, this would not be the screwdriver to carry because they're a little heavier.
Technically. Sure.
But this screwdriver is so nice. Like the number 2 Phillips, I say this to everybody. We've talked about it, I don't know, like at least a dozen times on the podcast about the quality, the feel of the handle. This is that
good in your hand.
It feels good in the hand. This is the micro finish. So this black section isn't rubber, right? It's hard plastic, but it's like grip tape almost.
Yeah, it's so weird because you think it should be rubber, like that would be more comfortable. Actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like it's more comfortable because it's not. I don't know. I totally.
Right. So I carry the 2 Phillips and then the bigger straight blade and a little bit smaller straight blade. I probably could get rid of this one, right? I probably don't need it, but whatever. I mean, they're
good. So I have the big, like 8-inch long or 10-inch long one, the flathead.
Yep.
I use it more, honestly, more traditional use for it for me would be like a pry bar of some sort. Like it's just, you need a flathead, right? And you need a strong one. I've used it as a chisel. I'm not going to lie. I've never, because that shaft goes all the way through to the end where you can pound on it if you have to. Yep. And it's amazing. Like breaking out big, heavy gauge, like knockouts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I'll use that screwdriver. I've literally broke concrete off like the side of a pipe or something like that to get it cleaned up so I could attach to the pipe and things like that. And it's like, this is amazing. This screwdriver is so freaking strong.
So Yeah. And that set was a 5-piece set. That big flat blade that you're talking about is in the van.
Yeah.
It's just one of those that I don't need it every time, so I'm not going to carry it.
I agree.
We've talked about this before. This is that Fellow smart handle, FELO. I kind of like this because it's just a basic handle. It's kind of similar in profile to the Weehaw handle, 1/4-inch shank, right? Which is cool. And then it has a slot in the side, so you can 1/4-inch T-handle with it too, if you need to break something loose.
That is a smart tool to own right there. You just have to have the bits to put in it, like like a bit extender, right?
Yep. And I carry this 4-inch one, and I think I've got a 6 in the front here.
Milwaukee makes a really nice long, like 6 or 8-inch one.
Yep.
Little bit holder.
Yep. So that's kind of handy. I've been carrying the DeWalt. What was this thing? A DWHT 66719 cordless screwdriver.
Okay. This is where you lost me. I know people like these things. I've just never used one. Like, how much do you use it?
I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And I was skeptical at first, right? Because I'm like, it's pretty big. The battery life on it's great.
Okay.
The torque on this thing is absolutely amazing.
Really?
It's got settings on the end here. DeWalt just released
like
this thing
speed
here,
settings or what?
Yeah, speed and how much torque. So like if we take it all the way down to 1, if I can actually go the right direction, 1 is less than 6. You can see that it's about like that, but I can stop it.
Okay.
Now the cool thing is if you jiggle this back and forth a little bit, it's locked up now. So you can use this to break something loose.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool, the gear system in it. But to change the direction, you just turn this collar, push it forward.
And it's got nice lights on it. It's bright. Yeah. It's like a little lightsaber.
And reverse, I think, is always high speed. I don't remember. Anyway, that works well. And like I say, I probably charge it like once every 3 weeks. It's USB-C rechargeable.
It's not bad.
This is one thing I'm going to say about, for whatever reason, that Navac light, a lot of my Unilight stuff is really particular about what you charge it on.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
We're starting to see that with more electronics all the time.
Yeah.
Like you got to use the cord they sent with it. Like it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah. This thing, you could plug it into anything, then it'll charge. It's weird, so that's a manufacturer thing, right? It's like, I get it that not everybody's compatible. Well,
it shouldn't be that way though. Like they're universal, like interface, right? The USB-C, but then like
that
battery.
U in universal or in USB is like for universal serial bus, something along that universal language.
Yeah, imagine that. It's right in the name.
So anyway, continuing on there, front of the plier, this is NWS. It's another German tool company.
Yep.
Phenomenal cutting tools. And these are just high torque side cutters.
I think they call those a bi-cut.
Something like that.
Diagonal cutter. Yeah, so bi-cut meaning like it's like they have like a extra leverage in the handle action. It's pretty cool. Yep.
They
can cut like a nail with them.
Yep, cut nails. I cut closet bolts, things like that. They work good on that. Or stuff that I'm like, I don't want to use my really nice Knipex or Knipex to cut this piece of ceiling wire out of the way. That's what those are for.
So wait, I haven't even seen a pair of pliers yet.
I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
Right? How crazy. Okay. So here they are, right here in the corner. Okay. 7-inch.
Cobras.
10s, I guess. Those are 10s. 10-inch pliers wrench, 10-inch Cobras, and then 7-inch pliers wrench, 7-inch Cobras.
Look at you. You're set.
Just set. Like I could do just about everything 3/4 inch and under, right? You're like, you're not going to bust 1 inch off or loose with Cobras. No, you could.
I think you will, but I know you mean.
But there again, I mean, the idea is this gets me in the door, gets me through diagnostics, through, the majority of most minor repairs.
Yeah.
which is the bulk of what we do, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to go in and we're like, oh, we got to replace angle stops on this. Okay, well, I'm going to go out to the van and I'm going to grab my angle stops. I'm going to grab my stop wrench. I'm going to grab my little bucket. I'm going to grab my copper tubing cutter. I'm going to grab whatever else. And those are tools that I'm going to bring in specific to that project or that task.
Yeah.
So
I think the big thing to take away, like, is, so anybody wondering, like, why wouldn't you just get a bigger bag and, like you're talking about, have all this stuff in it? But I think the takeaway from this for somebody thinking that is, look, Andy and I have been doing this for over 25 years, and we used to do that. I used to have a bag that had everything in it. I used to carry pipe wrenches in the same bag I carried, a number 2 screwdriver.
Yeah. One of my first bags was that, I don't know that they called it an OT XL, but it was had the pipe top, like this big hard pipe across the top, and the thing's like
OT. That's the OT
24 inches long.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I loved it.
Might have even been a
24-inch pipe wrench. Yeah, everything was in there.
I know, but it also weighed like 35 pounds, which is not good to be carrying around on one side of your body. And also, honestly, it's just stupid. Like, to be completely like, you don't need to carry around tools that you don't use every day.
Right. So I think we talked about this on the podcast. Well, it's been a couple of years ago. When I stopped carrying that bag, I was doing trim out in a freshly remodeled house. And I had my big bag. I had a shoulder strap on it, right?
Because it's
freaking heavy.
Yeah.
And I think I was carrying a box of fittings or a box of, trim parts, probably P-traps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm headed out of the house, right? Project's just about done. And I'm get to the top of the stairs, and there's, beautiful oak staircase and going down, whatever. And I'm got all this stuff, and I'm carrying my stuff out, trying to be careful. And I'm like halfway down the stairs, and something on my belt or something unclipped the shoulder strap. Like it must not have been hanging straight.
Yeah.
And I unclipped that thing, and the bag just like launches off my shoulder, like just gravity takes it.
It weighs 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah. Down the stairs this thing goes, right? Like literally this house is like blue tape punch list ready.
Not anymore.
And my tool bag
much more
goes clunkety 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 clunk down the stairs, scatter, like just basically ejecting all of my tools. And I get to the bottom, I'm like, oh my God, you got to be freaking kidding me. So I'm like picking my stuff up, and everything's okay. Stairs are okay, miraculously, whatever. And so I'm down on this landing, picking up the rest of my tools, and I'm like picking stuff up, pick the bag up, tip it over. And here, sticking out of the landing is a 1-inch wood chisel. It's stuck in the landing. Oh, you have to be freaking kidding me.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
And after that, I was like, I'm done. I do not need all of this stuff in every job.
No.
Right? Like that was the final straw for me. I don't even remember the outcome of what we ended up doing. I might even been an apprentice still, but
the other thing too about these big bags, like no matter who you are, what you're doing, like you get around like finished surfaces and stuff like that. They're heavy. They're usually like not made to care much about what you're setting them on and stuff like that. And like you could gouge out a floor or just scratch something, not totally even realize it.
Yep.
Like you don't need that. And then honestly, organization, you're way more efficient if you're working out of a smaller bag with only the tools you're ever going to really need on a regular basis. But there's all kinds of reasons why.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
Last thing.
Moving around.
Go ahead. Yeah.
One last pocket.
Yep.
Again, Knipex, this is the little micro diagonal cutters. These things are absolutely amazing for clipping zip ties, like in control cabinets.
Yeah.
Because they're flush cut. The other thing is if you're doing wiring, like thermostat wiring, you can clip the little end off of it. They're just handy.
Yeah.
And they don't weigh anything. Little Loctite, pipe dope. My favorite Rothenberger,
the Reamer, deburring
Reamer from like forever, a billion years ago. I think this thing's probably closing in on 20 years old.
Yeah.
It's got blade storage in the end. Pop the end down.
Yep.
Just Yeah. Torpedo level. That might be my favorite torpedo level. That little Milwaukee is just a really good size.
Yeah.
So
yep. I've been a Stabila guy lately. Last few years, I like it.
No, Stabila's nice stuff. No qualms. Always carry like an extended 3-inch number 2 Phillips, because there's always some reason why they have to put screws that are inaccessible. I don't know. It's like, are we like trying to build an airport here? You know, it's top security. You can't get your line hide fittings open without that. So
yeah, you're not wrong. I agree.
Tape measure mount on the front. There's a little clip there.
And you don't need anything more than a 16-foot tape measure.
No.
They're carrying around these 30-footers, for God's sakes. What are you doing? Building freaking bridges?
Yeah. What else I got in here? Oh. Okay. So 6-inch Phillips, couple of more magnetic extensions. That's for the fellow. So if you decide, hey, I need to go a little deeper, now we got a little longer screwdriver.
I always need to go a little deeper.
Well, that's what she said.
I like the bag. I like the little pouches because they're useful, obviously. But then I always find out I like jamming crap in them.
I got a couple little bags coming that I'm gonna hang on it for my Wagos.
Oh yeah.
Anybody that's not using Wagos, come on, it's 2025. Right?
I use them on the control stuff. I like them
in your pumps, like pumps that have leads.
Yeah,
that right there.
I agree. They're nice.
Yep. So we carry the 2-port and the 3-port.
You like the lever lock style though?
I do.
Yeah, that's kind of I use too. I won't buy the push-in kind.
Yes, I found
really
that
work for what I need.
Supply House is stocking these now.
By a little baby,
500. Just
look at that chef's kiss. I love it.
That's right.
That's right on, dude. Thanks for taking us through your tool bag. I looked up the bag real quick because anybody asking, let's just really quickly cover it. It's called the SBLD. This is not sponsored by Veto by any means.
Happy to if you want to.
Yeah, $149.99. That's the price, and it's not cheap. But here's a conversation I used to have a lot. Now I think people are kind of over it and they see the value. But like people would message me and they'd say like, why would you spend like $150, $200 on a bag? And it's really quite simple for me. It took me a minute to understand it, but first of all, this day and age, all these companies, if they offer a tool bag, they're charging over $100 for it.
Yeah.
And I have found through many years of buying tool bags that you can buy what appears to be a perfectly decent bag from Home Depot under the Husky name or CLC or I guess I don't know the longevity or the durability of the Milwaukee stuff, but I'll say this by the other brands have been out there for a long time. They look great from the beginning. They're relatively okay price, I guess, but you're going to get like 2 or 3 years out of that bag.
Yep.
It's going to fail. I still own my first Veto bag. I talked about it 3 times already in this episode.
Right.
It was like a $200 bag at the time. Yep. They've become more competitive in pricing, but they've improved their bags a ton. But that $200 bag is like now, like 2010, I got it, 2009.
Yep.
So it is over 15 years old, or at least 15, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No, still job worthy.
It looks gross because it's dirty and been beat the hell out of, but it's totally nothing has failed on it whatsoever.
No.
So real quick though, my point being, you can spend $100 or $150 on a lesser bag, in my opinion.
Yep.
That is you're going to replace, let's say after 2 or 3 years, probably long after it already had a pocket fail with a hole in it, and you can't put a bit in that one or it's going to drop down and scratch your, grandma's floor.
Sure.
So that's not good.
Right.
And then you spend maybe even twice as much on a Veto bag, let's say, and all of a sudden this thing lasts 10, 15 years, it costs you less money.
Right.
Right. It just does.
Yep. I have the same sentiments for it. I mean, I've got, I don't know what my oldest one is. It's well over 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing, if I were going to look at it and really nitpick it, the only thing that I would find that is deteriorated would be like a Velcro flap, like that everyday flap. The Velcro's finally starting to fail on it. Oh, okay. But like you said, I mean, $150 I look at this bag and go, well, if I'm willing to spend, money on my customers' parts, right?
Yeah.
Why would I not look at something that's going to make me more efficient getting in and out of their house? It's going to make me money, right?
You got to have something to hold your tools, and a 5-gallon bucket ain't it.
Yep.
I'll tell you that right now.
And so what I've done is my last bag, that zip top bag, there's nothing wrong with it. It's still in the van, right? All the tools that I didn't put in this are in it. And what I'm doing with it is, as I'm slowly but surely, I'll open the van up and it's still hanging on the wall there. And I'll look at it and be like, hey, okay, these 2 screwdrivers I clearly haven't used, right? I've had this bag for 2 months now. If those screwdrivers are still in that bag and I haven't migrated them out or put them away, I don't probably need to be carrying that. It's a duplicate or,
Yep.
And so exactly I've just whittled that bag down, and I'm going to probably turn that bag into sheet metal tools or something like that. So it's not that I ever get out on install stuff. So I need to almost kind of quit thinking that, but,
Yeah, but having a bag set up for different tasks is not a bad idea.
No.
It's easy to do too. If you're doing new construction, you have a rough-in bag and you have a finish bag. Like, you shouldn't have the same bag that does both. Like, it's just, what a pain.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Right, I guess I kind of look at it as, if people are willing to go out and spend $200 on a pair of Nikes or a pair of Jordans or something like that, but then they'll complain about $150 for a tool bag. No, come on.
Yeah. It's funny. You complain about the cost of the bag, let's say, but then you put, $1,500 worth of nice tools in it. If you've got to that point, you're already buying expensive bags anyway.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's just don't tell your wife how much you actually spent on them.
Hey, need to know basis. Need to know.
You don't need to know.
Yeah, she knows. She's the one that pays the invoices that I hand in, so that's fine.
There you go. No, I like it. I'm right there with you. Better hand tools are just better hand tools. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it's fun for the customers too, because they come in and they see you with this nice bag of tools or whatever, and I don't know how many times I've had a customer grab one of these screwdrivers out and be like, "Wow."
I just go over and I slap them. I slap their hand. Don't touch it. Don't even look at it.
You can't afford it.
You touch that, you buy it.
That's right. I do have to say, so the other day I had this number 2 Phillips sitting on top of a boiler.
Yeah.
And it rolled off the boiler. And it's kind of flattened, but I
stabbed itself into an oak landing.
No, so it fell off, and because the handle's so heavy, right, like the balance, it fell off, landed straight on the end of it, and it's hard, and it bounced off the concrete, and like I dang near caught it on the bounce.
Oh wow,
it was kind of crazy. I was like, whoa, what the heck, a screwdriver flying off the floor.
I really do like my Weehaw screwdrivers. I know I say it every time, but they're that nice. Like, they're nicer. I don't care what anybody says. All right. We're going to end this. And what you got? Well, you're pulling out more tools. What is this?
Check this guy out.
Okay. This is a metal box. You pull it out about the size of, like, I don't know.
This is my electronics repair, working on the 3D printer. Look at this.
This is a premium kit, though. Oh, it's got like 127 pieces in it.
This is the ESD Master Tech Micro Bit Set. So now, granted, you're not going to do anything big with this.
Well, no, but it's not 4 big things.
No, it starts at T3.
Yeah.
Right? T3.
This is for taking your laptop apart.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got the little 5-sided, whatever, penta drive. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Iambic pentameter, I believe is what they call that.
Sure. Yeah. That's a PL1 through PL6.
That's awesome. That's a cool kit.
Here, let's look at this straight blade.
Can we even get that close on camera? Look at that's tiny, dude.
It is tiny. Let me see if let's try this super.
Oh my gosh, super zoom. Okay.
Oh, it's not gonna. Oh, here we go.
No, I can see it.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Look at that. Oh, that is the smallest blade I've ever seen in my life.
It's a flat blade.
It's like, hey, I have this screw that takes a blade the size of a human hair.
Right. Well, here's the 0.7 millimeter hex.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know. Like, what do you do with that?
I don't know. You work on like open heart surgery on a grasshopper.
That's right. Anyway, so got you covered.
There you go. Look at that. That's an hour of you going through the tool bag. I like it.
God dang.
A special episode of the Make Trades Great Again podcast.
Yep. Yours is next.
I got to organize my.
You only do this. You can only do this kind of a reveal after a fresh bag, because then it's like, oh, it's not full of like screws and
I know.
Dirt.
Anybody watching though is going to see that thing. It doesn't even have like a piece of lint on it. It's so new. You know what I mean? Like, it is no cat hair from the litter box that's next to the boiler. All right, dude. I want to remind everybody listening, hit us up over in the DMs. You've been sending awesome messages. There's a link right in your podcast app. You can tap that, and you can text us directly.
Yep.
We won't be able to text you back, but we will get your message, and we have addressed those many times. We've got so many great messages. We have like at least a dozen episodes now just off of those suggestions you guys are sending in or questions, and really enjoy the feedback too. So give us a rating in your podcast app. We appreciate it. It's been a while since we got one of those. I'd love to get another 5-star. And yeah, anything you want to add before we go, bud?
I was just going to say, if you see something in my tool bag that you're like, I need to have one of those. What model is that? Just hit us up. DM us. I'll be happy to share.
I agree.
I get probably twice a month for the last 8-9 months a question about the little PK safety, or not PK, the Honeywell BW sensors.
The personal carbon monoxide detector.
There's a whole ton of these out there, different places. One of our partners here just recently released one, Citron, whatever.
Yep.
So they have a little wearable meter now too. So
they're fantastic. If you work in gas appliances anywhere, like, that's a must have, and it's super inexpensive. It lasts for 2 years.
Yep. I since I've had it, I don't know how many times I've walked in. I mean, I can't even count how many times I've walked into a mechanical room somewhere and the thing's going off, and I'm like, oh. But previously, I wouldn't even had my meter turned on yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Kind of scary.
Exactly. All right, dude.
All right. Enough.
See you later.
Later.